Recording where there's some sort of pre-chat and everyone's like, oh, what were you guys talking about beforehand? And you're like, ha 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 ha, and then you go in.
As if.
Apparently it's a common, again, it's a common thing. I don't really buy into it, but I mean, if it helps the gimmick, I suppose, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, now you know we're live, because now I'm talking to a non-existent audience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome. This is an interesting one. For some time, I've been going back and forth with our guest today to try and get him on, because when I started YouTube, I wasn't really understanding what it was I was getting into, and as it developed from when I started in 2016, it's become a much different landscape to what it was when I started, and yet there are some creators that have persisted with the times, and with it becoming even harder to become an original and long format style creator. But nevertheless, our guest today is one of imperious skill, magnificent dedication, and absolute just great insights into some topics that we need to cover and can only be covered by someone that was there when it happened and has seen the results. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest today, Kronenbourg, or I call him Crow because we're mates, and I like to I give everyone calls me Dick for short. It's fine. I'm okay with it. So I guess first of all, introduce yourself in terms of like, how would you describe yourself as a YouTuber? Like if you have to sum what you do in your channel in a nutshell, how do you elevate and pitch yourself?
Well, okay, so I'm Kronenbourg, but Crow's completely fine. But a lot of my gaming pals call me Crow as well. Kind of, well, it is just Let's Plays and reviews, so it's mostly game reviews. I also do film reviews now, and Let's Plays of anything, literally anything. I'll play anything. You
whore! I mean,
I know.
Well, I guess the question I want to ask just before I follow up on that is, when you say Let's Plays of anything, is that on Steam exclusively, or is that on consoles, or is there anywhere where you derive your games from normally?
It's PC. I only have a PC, so it's owned mostly Steam. There might be Uplay. I've done some Ghost Recon Wildlands on Uplay. Now and then might be Epic, but I would say that's only because of the free games. So majority, it's been Steam. I play everything on Steam. Could be free to play or paid games. Mostly single player, I would say. I've done some multiplayer, like Rocket League, although that's now cancelled, so I can't do anymore. And Ghost Recon Wildlands, but with my mates. And of course, the main is Battlefield, so that's always going to be there.
So I guess the place to start is, what was your jump-off point? Like, when you were sitting there one day, doing whatever it is you were doing, and maybe the thought had crossed your mind before, maybe it hadn't, but you just, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. What was going through your mind day one?
I had no idea. Well, I was thinking about doing a channel for a good couple of years. You know, when you think in your head, oh, this would be great if I did my own video, and I never did it. And I was like, oh yeah, and I kept thinking and thinking and thinking of it. It was literally started off with me Battlefield in my head, and then I just thought, yeah, not to it, let's just go for it. So I created my channel, did some Battlefield stuff, but my first ever video, my first ever Let's Play, as it were, was of a game, and it's the only one where I haven't recorded my audio, my voice, called Alpha Prime. It's my first one. It took me ages to record it. I'd edited it, something chronic, so it looks flawless, as opposed to my later stuff. But it took me ages, and I loved doing that first one. It was like, yeah, here's my first video. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but I had no idea why. I just wanted to just do it. You know, at the time then, YouTube was, you know, people were doing it, but I just thought, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to do it. And I had a couple of ideas in my head of what I wanted to do. So just, it was kind of bizarre. There was no kind of like structure on, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and I'm going to create a channel. It was just like, I'll create a channel. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'll do this game. I bought it for cheap. I'll have that one. There we go. And it kind of started from there.
How did it feel when you first uploaded a video then? I mean, obviously you mentioned there that obviously the process was a little different. The jump off point's a little different to what you do now. But like, once you've kind of gotten through what you have to actually, like, I know it's weird now, again, a lot of this is in hindsight, going through the rigmarole of setting up an account, figuring out how editing software worked or where to get it, how to get it to run on your PC because it would crash it if your PC wasn't high enough spec, you know, ironing out kinks, clicking upload, and then dealing with that palpable tension of, oh god, it's live, people can see it, and they're gonna see it. Like, how did that feel for you?
Well, to record, I use Shadowplay, which is off NVIDIA. So you don't have any software. You don't have to, like some people use OBS and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't bother. I knew I had NVIDIA because I had my graphics card. So I knew they had Shadowplay. They call it something else now. But so you basically just click record and away you go. So it's all done. I had to buy the external hard drives to start with. So I kind of had that in my head. My software to use beginning was a Microsoft one. I can't remember what it was. It's the basic Windows, whatever it's called. It's not media player, it's something else, software, whatever. So I did that. It took me like about 3 hours to render one video. It was like, oh god, the computer just went through the roof. So I was sharing a house at the time, so it was literally a case of everybody knew when I was rendering because it was in my room for like an hour and a half. And then, like I say, it's create the account, set it up, press upload, like say, took ages to upload, and then yeah, it was weird. My first one, it went live. I didn't see many views because I didn't expect thousands of views, but it was quite nice to see my first video coming up. And then I did a review because I had Alpha Prime, but I did my first game review, which when I listened back to it, my god, that is edited. But you can hear me reading off a script. I'm like, hello, my name is, and it's just literally like that, and I'm reading it off a script because I had that next to me, but now I don't care. But yeah, it was fine. It was weird because loads of people had done this before, and it was just like, okay, I'm gonna have a go. How hard can it be? And I don't have the webcam because that's just me, so I didn't have to worry about that sort of side. But it still felt very kind of, oh god, I'm gonna be recording sort of thing, because I was just not used to speaking out loud. I was with my friends, but not to the imaginary people that I can't see on the other side.
It is a weird one. I've never revealed this before, so bit of an exclusive on this one. My YouTube start wasn't actually my YouTube start. I did do YouTube videos several years before I actually did YouTube videos. It's just that what my esteemed guest has hit on there is that once it goes live, there's a weird thing that happens where suddenly, even though before you just wanted to make the video, but now it's live, oh god, I hope people watch it. I hope it doesn't just sit there getting no views. And what they don't tell you when you start is that it won't. Like, unless you've hit a real hot trend or you've really worked hard to hit and now analytics weren't really a thing back in 2015-16 time, and if they were very limited or available to top tier creators, so it was a different time, man. So the idea that you're sort of sitting there with this palpable tension of it's live now, I hope it does well, is a weird one, because like, you wouldn't have not made it, but at the same time you kind of want that guarantee, which is where subscriptions was a thing. Obviously it was a big thing at the time, where it wasn't as bad as it is now, where it's please like, share, subscribe, sign up to my Patreon, sign up to my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. You could also follow me on TikTok as well, by the way. Also Food Fresh, you didn't have all this rigmarole. It was just, hey, subscribe to my channel and you'll get videos. So the next question is, once you'd started and once you'd made maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start to see a progression of the people that start to subscribe to your channel, how does it feel with that growth? Like, how do you go through the motions of seeing it go up and up and up and up and up? Albeit, again, like me, it's frustrating at times because you think, man, I want it to go faster almost, but at the same time you're appreciating every subscriber. How does that feel?
Like you say, it is quite nice when you get somebody viewing the videos, even though they're only small. I mean, I was very grateful when I look at a video after like a week or something, like, oh, I've got 3 views, It's just like, yeah, this is so nice. Somebody's viewed it. Whereas now everyone just focuses and goes, oh, good, I've only got 30,000 views. How depressing. It's like, even now I'm kind of like that as well. Not the 30,000 views, but yeah, it's weird because they are watching it. A lot of them at the very beginning were kind of my friends. So there were my clanmates were watching them. And there was even people from work watching them. So that was quite nice because then they'd say to me the next day, "Oh, I watched your video. It was about this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Yes, I know because I released it." So it's quite nice though. So yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's hard to kind of go back in time, as you say, and think what it was like on the day. I just think it was just a nice feeling that somebody was watching it, whoever they were. And like you say, analytics wasn't like it is now. I mean, now you
You still there, buddy? I'll cover for a second because it looks like the internet connection is running a little jarring at the moment. Yeah, that's my fault.
Wow.
It's my fault.
I wondered why you froze.
It's my fault once again. God damn it! Sorry, folks. My flow interrupted your flow there. Sorry. So you were saying
okay.
Analytics weren't as good as they used to be. Sorry, analytics used to be so bad. They're much better now because these days you can even. And then sorry, it cut you off.
I'll try and remember then what I said.
Basically, well, I know exactly what you're talking about. When I first started, the
yeah.
only analytics you had to go by was your sub count and your view count. Zit.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
These days, you can find how long people are watching and where they're watching.
Yep, where they're watching from. Yep, the whole thing you can find out
for all this bollocks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's so much. There's even videos to explain how to use the analytics, but it depends on which ones you watch. I've looked at even now. I've been going through some, like not videos, but some guides, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Even then, when I'm reading the guide alongside my analytics, I have no clue. But yeah, back then there was none of that. It was just literally a case if you upload it and just see what happens. And the only way you could kind of figure it out was by just looking at your view count. That was the only way you could really tell if your video was doing any good or not. We had none of this playtime thing.
Which is, I have to be honest, I don't know how useful that is in terms of like, again, the game's changed. I fully appreciate that. I think though it's become needlessly complicated in a lot of ways by people trying to be too clever in many ways. But I'll throw it to you rather than pontificate because I've got all the time in the world to throw out my useless theories. As far as the progression then from then to now, what changes have you gone through? Like when you started and when you were uploading, is it consistency? Is it just the nature of your content? Is it the way you approach your content? Is it your attitude towards it? Like just the joy you used to feel versus now it's more like, no, I do this. It's what I do. It's part of who I am. My channel is me and I'm proud of it and I'm investing in it as time goes by. Like what's changed for you?
I think I kind of came out myself when I started doing the videos. So, like I say, at the very beginning, I was kind of a bit unsure what I was doing. The Battlefield's different. I can't explain that as such. Well, I can explain it, but that's literally a case of I'm not talking to anybody as such. I'm just in the middle of gaming with my mates. But with the Let's Plays, I kind of realised that it's better to record more raw, as it were. I keep some of it in, but edit only little bits out. And then I kind of enjoyed the way that I could just pick up any game, whatever it was. I don't know. I could name a load that I've played, some weird ones and some awesome ones and some absolutely awful ones. And I just play them. And because I think a lot of people have said, especially about my reviews, definitely, and some Let's Plays, they like the Let's Plays because I talk. A lot of Let's Plays don't do commentary. So I've had quite a few people say, "Now finally a commentary on this entire playlist." I'm like, "Cool, good, that's good," because I do it for everything. The reviews, a lot of people like the way I've changed the way I do my reviews. So before, in fact, at the very beginning, I kind of did it this way. I do like the options at the beginning, then I do the gameplay, then the review at the end. And not a lot of people do that. They just go straight into, they do a montage. Here's an awesome game. This is all the best bits, you know, and like a trailer of a film. So you just think it's awesome. Then you get it and realize it's not. So I tend to do that. And from the beginning till now, nothing's really changed except, I don't know, I have a schedule. I know what I'm doing. I enjoy doing what I do. And that's about it, really. I would say that's the goal. If you enjoy doing what you do, why not? Just do it. If you only like one game, then stay with that one game. But I enjoy playing all sorts, and it's over the years I've diversified into totally different stuff that I would never normally play. RTS games, my goodness me, I've played some of those, but years ago never would have touched those with a barge pole. But now I'm just thinking, why not? Let's go for it. So yeah, I do change, but only slightly. I don't really notice it.
Yeah, we don't share that in common, unfortunately. I bounced around a million fucking different things. God bless this man. When I first started, it was just game reviews. And then for whatever reason, I got it in my head, I can do movies, and then I can do this, and I can do live reactions. And it's one of those things where you go, nah, you need to be consistent, and you need to be concise, so people know what they're tuning into. Because one of the things that you and I have had to contend with, and it's even worse now than when we started as well. I'm sure there's some things that are better than when we started. There must be. But just none come to mind. But like the level of noise around everything that can be covered is astonishing. Like, I'm looking at the your popular videos tab right now, and you've got a series of reviews that have done several thousand views. Back in the day, man, the concept that in this case you've got 8.4 thousand, 5.6 thousand, 5.3 thousand, 5.3 thousand people. Like, I don't know if I've met 5,500 people in my entire life. And yet, in the intervening period, like, a number like that isn't seen as like groundbreaking or mind-blowing to the majority of casual, and I'm not just saying like because to creators we understand what it takes to get to that number. It's fucking heartbreaking sometimes. But to the casual who are now used to seeing TikTok numbers in the tens of millions, the hundreds of millions for some random shit that they clipped from somewhere else, it's hard to get your stuff noticed. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask is, in your mind at least, what are some of the things that you've done, if not to get to sort of overtly get noticed? Because you don't strike me as the kind of guy that's going to try and shove something in someone's face and say, you definitely have to, absolutely need to watch this. You're kind of guy that kind of goes, look, I do what I do, I like what I do, I'm pretty good at what I do. If you like it, check it out. If you don't, it's fine. But what do you do to kind of spice it up, to spruce it up, or to kind of grab people's attention, would you say?
I don't really know. I like I say, you said before, I just do, I'm more casual in the way I am. So the reason why I don't like the webcam thing for me is I don't want to do the facial images and all that business. You know, if I'm having a really bad time on a game, then you probably don't want to see it on webcam, because I'm usually sticking 2 fingers up at the screen and various other things. So it's just like, for me, to sort of get things out there, I do use Twitter, but not very much. As you probably noticed in my sporadic amount of videos.
I was going to say, what, you use what, sorry? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
What's Twitter? Apparently it's not a thing anymore, even though it definitely is. It's always going to be Twitter. I'm sorry, it always is. Yeah, sorry. It's the thing with the bird. Or the fox, as they brought it on. So, yeah, I don't know. I just produce them. I don't do any. You do some premieres, stuff like that. I don't do any of that. I just kind of just bring them up. I do. The only things I would say that I mention is I do my thank you videos, like once a year or maybe half a year. I might do like an update on my channel and just sort of waffle on about what I've released, and then I'll just sort of say, oh, and thank you to everybody, subscribers and non-subscribers, because with the joy of analytics, I can find out that about 60 or 70% of my people who watch my channel are not subscribed, but I don't really scream and yell, subscribe! So it's just literally a case of, you know, they don't watch it, if they don't want to subscribe. We all do it all before. I don't subscribe to every channel I watch. That's
that's probably the same with other people. And so I do that as my thank you video, and then I might mention in there what I'm thinking of doing. I might say I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I have taken some feedback from some people. So the area that I've branched out on is films. So I've enjoyed doing that because somebody suggested I do films. I thought, I don't know, I don't really want to do the famous films that everyone does. So now I do films that everyone looks at in IMDb and goes, I rate a 3, I ain't watching that. They're the ones I watch. So I enjoy them, and they're good. I do them every Sunday.
Has that helped keep things fresh for you then, in the sense of, like I say, you originally looked at it and thought, I'm not sure, but then when you sort of get into it, you're like, oh, actually, no, I could see myself doing this. Has that kept things fresh for you, or is it more a bolt-on to what you already had going on? In terms of your enthusiasm for it.
I do enjoy it. It's my first 6 videos, I think, or the first 6 videos, first 6 or 7 films or whatever it is. I did like an audio thing, so you could have just stuck it in the background and you wouldn't know anything. And then people were saying, well, can we have a bit more in there, maybe some video, images from the thing? I thought, well, I can't really do that because copyright and all that stuff. Well, what I can do is I can get the trailers, because I test them out on YouTube. Will they have a copyright strike? No, they won't. Good, I'll have that. And now what I do is I also pop in at the beginning the cast and crew, like the directors, the photos and stuff like that, so you can actually look and think, oh, I've seen him before, I didn't know he was in this film. And because I do it like that, it's more enjoyable for the viewer. So they can watch something as opposed to just listening to me waffling on. But my reviews for it, this is why I like it in my mind, is I'm not like the typical, I don't know if it's typical, the typical review that just talks about the Hollywood style sort of thing of it. I'll just find my little quirks that I like in it, or find funny, or what the hell had just happened here, or quotes, because I don't want to give too much of the film away. I've seen people do a review of a film that's actually an hour and a half, and you think, well, might as well just watch the film. Whereas mine are about like 10 or 15. It has helped me, I think, a lot more, because I'm branching out, but I enjoy it. It's not like I'm going to branch out to films only. It's just an extra thing for me to do. I record it on a Monday or Tuesday. I have them backed up, as we all know, and then I release it. So I enjoy it. It's good fun.
With that in mind, I can contain myself no longer, ladies and gentlemen, because one of the main reasons that I wanted to talk to our guest today is in large part because of a shared experience, but also in part because I've seen a couple of videos pop up on his timeline that are more opinionated and more directed at certain topics than I would come to expect, and talking about some things that I really wish more people would be talking about. For instance, I currently have a screen grab of something called YouTube have an update for creators on adverts, and the picture is of a desperate looking man in front of his laptop. Now, I'm no thumbnail expert, but I am given to understand that thumbnails are somewhat spoilerish for the content of the video. It does not bode well for what the adverts on YouTube update is, or what it entails for us humble creators. So, without going into the video, because you can watch it yourself, you can go and find it now. There'll be a link in the description of this video because it's of most interest to me. I guess the question I had, not necessarily about the topic in question, but how much are you cognizant of your position as a creator in the scheme of things now? To make a video like that, it speaks to me that you're still trying to push for, how would I say it? Fair treatment, in so much as, guys, what we make isn't or shouldn't be judged based on how much traction it can get day one. Like, there are videos that get views weeks, months, if not years after the fact, based on the quality of the video or the coverage or whatever may be, right? But y'all seem to favor trends, and that gets boring. Like, seeing everyone do the same bollocks. So I guess my question is, like, how do you view yourself in the scheme of things now than when you started? And what prompts you to kind of make those videos talking about your experiences as a creator?
With regards to YouTube, or just in general?
In general, I mean, obviously you went into politics on a couple of, or at least one occasion. But again, that speaks to this idea of using your platform to actually say something, rather rather than what I see some people do, which is they use their platforms in a way to garner. Basically, they use them to jump on bandwagons, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you're trying to say something that no one's really having the gall to say. And I guess what I want to know is, where does that come from? Like, why do you think it's even important to do it?
So, as you probably know, and some people probably don't know, YouTube, as it started, very beginning, anyone could monetize. Anybody. Anyone, you create a channel, I created a channel, and I got AdSense account, started it up, and I made, I think, like £9 or something like that. Not much, but
You made £9 whole before they stopped you? Jesus
but
Christ.
I never got it because they cancelled my AdSense accounts, and I won't go into too much depth on that one, obviously. I was raging about that one for, I don't know, you probably heard about that one.
Well, I had I think it was £1.47 generated because I only just got AdSense, and then the week after was the adpocalypse, and I went, what's that? And so you get an email through that says, so good news, you're demonetized. So that money we owe you, even though it's only 1.47, it's still the principal. Yeah, you're not getting it because you now got to qualify for it. So it was,
yeah, but you see,
okay.
mine wasn't for that. Mine was for they removed me for, is it invalid activity or something like that? I can't remember what it was. I did it on one of my later videos. So I got the email saying it's on one of your videos. I thought, okay, what's that? So I looked it up, and it talks about amount of clicks or something of an advert. I thought, okay, you're going to tell me which video it is? And they didn't. So I thought, they said, oh, you should know, look at your analytics.
Wait,
so
YouTube punished you for YouTube punished you and didn't tell you why? Wow.
Yeah, they didn't tell me what video.
That's never happened before.
I know. So I went in to think, well, it must be, there's one video that's on the bottom of the timeline thing called Battle Stations Midway, and it had done really well in a very short time. And I put it up within a month and like 1,000 views, and I thought, this is rare. So I removed it from public view, and I thought, there you go, that'll do. So they reinstated it. About 3 weeks later, cancelled. I was like, what? And I said, well, which one is it? It says, we can't tell you. I thought, well, you know which one it is because you can't. So they cancelled me AdSense. Most people would have just stopped at this point, but I didn't care. I just thought, nuts to this. And now with this stupid threshold thing where they say, if you have 500 subscribers, you can have this, but it's not going to make you any money until you have 1,000 subscribers. They should go back to how it was. Everybody can monetize. No matter what. I think YouTube will make an absolute fortune out of it, and it'll bring in new creators. But the reason why I started doing those other videos was because I kind of get fed up with the way that certain things happen. So my politics one was because somebody asked me about it. It was an American. I thought, oh, okay, I'll do it. But my take on it is a bit kind of, well, ranty, I would say. But with the YouTube stuff, because of the analytics, the AdSense thing, because of the monetization, it really annoys me when they come along and go, here's the creative video for you all. And it's like, here it is. Yeah, it's all geared towards you, the 1,000 plus subscriber channels. It's like, nah. So I don't know. For me, it annoys me when they come up like this. And I know what you mean about the clickbait stuff, because there's a couple of channels I do watch. They watch the creative video, and then they create their own channel, their own video of the same thing, and get like 30, 40,000 views. You go to the original YouTube creator video, and it's got like 3,000 views. And it's just, you think, well, that's it. And everyone goes, oh, thank you so much for telling us. It's like, well, if you go to your dashboard, you'll notice the same video there. You could just click on that and see the exact same thing. But they do it because they know they can get the revenues from it. And yeah, it annoys me when I see things like that, because, you know, I even did one for copper, the child protection thing. I can't remember what it's actually called, because everyone was harping on about that. Nobody make any money. I thought, well, I don't make any money anyway. So I did a video on copper, but I went into more depth where you could actually, at the time, you could speak to the people, the FTC, I think you could do. And I put the description. I even replied to them. And put my own wording up to their own thing. Of course, it never happened, but I did that because everyone was moaning about it. And I thought, where's the videos about this? I can't see any. And everyone's just saying, we're not going to make any more money. I thought, yeah, you will. So that's why I do it, because there are some people out there that don't make any money. And I don't know, I just, sometimes I just like to just waffle on. As you can tell, I can waffle on to the cows come home and the rooster is roosting.
Listen, if you want to take a shot at the crown of Waffle Kings, then you are welcome to take a shot, but I am not letting go of that crown anytime soon. You can waffle all you like. You ain't beating me anytime soon. But so the reason that resonates with me, and this is why, again, it's interesting to hear your insight and your experiences with this, is because sometimes being a YouTuber is remembering it. Like, when I was a kid, this wasn't, it's like having your own TV channel. Like, that was an insanely cool prospect. Like, so wait, I can make my own show and I can broadcast it to the world? Fucking A, great. But then they do present this idea of, right, but we will make money off that though. And you go, well, I deserve to be compensated for that if you're going to make money off it, right? Well, no, because we've instigated this practice where we just took ads from everybody for a bit. And then we took ads from people that we really shouldn't have taken money for the ads for, ran the ads, found the ads in front of things that they shouldn't have been in front of, and then we banned everyone who wasn't under a certain threshold because we made it their fault for our incompetence. And it's frustrating because I don't know if you've ever explored other platforms, not Instagram and TikTok in terms of like the format, but like Vimeo was a thing for a bit. Dailymotion popped up and they tried taking a run at things, and now you've got also subscriber based like Nebula. I think they have a video hosting platform of sorts, but it's not the same. YouTube is still the place, and yet YouTube is as uncooperative with its new creators and original content creators as ever. Like, what we do, they don't care for, and it's stupid. Because where do you think the ideas come from that spawn the next generation of creators? It's not going to come from people that, like your example, basically do the Drake thing, which is, well, it's not who comes up with the idea, it's who does the best with the idea. Well, no, the credit should go to the guy that came up with the idea, not someone that steals it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for other channel, other sites and stuff, I have looked. But then it's just literally a case of, you know, I can't remember what it was. There was one that was Blockchain, and I can't remember the name of the company. But I thought, well, how about this one? But then I'm thinking, I don't know. It's a lot of hard work just to read it. And this is, you can link to your YouTube channel. I thought, what's the point in that? Why don't I just have the YouTube channel? Vimeo I've not done because I thought that's mostly music, from what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of VO. I think it's that one.
Vivo, yeah. I think
Vivo, yeah. So I haven't really looked at anything like that, but a lot of these are either, they're not free. A lot of them you have to pay. So most people are only going to go there if their favorite musician's there, or their favorite big YouTube or big Twitcher. And I can't do Twitch because that's all live. So I don't know. Like you say, most people go to YouTube. You search for a video, you go to YouTube. Even if everyone says, I don't like YouTube because they do this and that, I can't have advert, I have to have adverts on, or I don't want this, I don't. It's like, well, where are you going to go for your video? You type into Google something, and you up comes the videos, and you instantly go to YouTube, and that's just the way you are. So I'm quite happy staying in YouTube, and there's a lot of politics, like you say, with them, how they sort of try to steer people going this way.
Who they promote and why.
Yeah. They don't promote the small channels. It's very rare if on the right hand side of your videos you get any small channels, and you do get a few because obviously you might be watching the small channels. But then if I did once when I thought, well, I'll type in review, game review or something in the top search, and you can filter by channels. So I filtered by channels, and it took me ages to scroll my little scrolly down. It got to a really tiny little bar, really small, about the size of about a millimeter, and there was a small channel. The rest of them were all the 15 million subscribers, 130,000 subscribers. So where's the small ones? They should be there. You should be able to filter for the small channels, because it annoys me when there are some small channels out there and they're trying to do something, but they can't because YouTube focuses on the big one. cat's in, I'm afraid. Do you want to
Right,
pause?
in that case, let's pause for...
Yep.
All right, well, I mean, as far as not using any of the channels, that's sorry, any of the platforms, that's fair enough. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed other creators doing, though, is this sort of condensing down into a brand more and more. When I first started, and when you first started to a degree, it was more... I guess it was more personal. Like, people felt like human beings doing channels, whereas these days, like, I look at someone like Mr. Beast, right? I get he's the extreme example, but he's like a cartoon character. He's a caricature of a human being. He's not real. Whereas, like, Angry Joe was someone that I watched when I was just starting. Same with Total Biscuit and Pro Jared before that happened. You know, these guys maybe accentuated themselves a little bit, but they were still kind of real guys doing their thing, right? Whereas what I see now is like, and again, it's a weird thing talking to people sometimes on podcasts, or rather watching people, because you see them not act like you're used to. So I guess one of the questions I would want to ask you through that prism of, again, people kind of being encouraged to become brands rather than sort of their channels being just representations of who they are. How have you resisted that? Because you don't seem to fall into that category where you're, you know, laser sounds and Thursday night and boom, boom, boom and hashtag 15% off or whatever it is that a lot of these guys do when they become brands. How have you resisted that?
Well, for a start, I don't make any money, so that's that one easy thing for me. I can understand in a way why some of them do that, but then the problem is with that is they have to keep doing that for the rest of their lives. So the Mr. Beast will have to keep doing that, even if I don't watch any of his videos, but I do know who he is. But he could he could come along and think, you know what, I can't be bothered with this rubbish, not today. Oh, but I've got to, because of my 50 million fans are waiting for a video, so now I've got to produce this video. And it's having that mentality for me isn't what I want to do. I just want to basically just enjoy doing what I do. I don't have like you say, I don't have anything as such, no schedule. Well, I do have schedule. I've set it up recently where I can actually set up the schedule, so it just sets going, which is quite good for me. But I have set things I have going. If I miss a week, I'm not that fussed, because, you know, maybe I've just forgotten to record it, like the episode of Ironside that I haven't actually done. So I've got things like that, but I'm not sort of screaming mental and running around thinking, oh my god, I've got to do this. I don't have sponsors. I don't have anyone that's beholden to me, or beholden to them, if it were, so I can just get on with stuff that I want to do.
But do you feel the pressure? Like, I get that FOMO isn't the same for creators as it is for just standard things in life, like you know, and to be brutally honest, I don't really suffer from FOMO as much as I see a lot of other people suffering from. And I say suffer, by the way, because fear of missing out is a fucking dredge on society that I really fear is unleashed and doing damage that we don't yet understand. Topic of conversation for another time, though. But my point is that I felt that. I felt pressure when I was sort of in the middling of my YouTubing career, where I was like, what I love doing isn't getting any traction. So I guess I have to start doing stuff that other people are doing, so at least it piggybacks off that, so that people maybe come back to the stuff that I do.
Yeah, I know.
And that never really panned out. Like, it was only after I started actually doing what I love to do and doing it well, and being consistent with it, that it got any traction. And that's only in the last 2 years. So, but I felt that. And I'm pretty... not immune to it, but I'm pretty resistant to it. And again, I have to feel that, especially when you focus on gaming, and gaming's gone through a few revolutions, not just one, but a few revolutions on YouTube. There must have been pivotal moments where you were like, I mean, everyone seems to be doing this. I mean, should I be doing it? Should I not be doing it? I don't know. Like, you must have dealt with those moments.
Yeah. More of the multiplayer, I would say. I was thinking, oh, well, everyone does the latest Battlefield, because that's one of the games I absolutely enjoy, but I couldn't get into it, and I was just like, I know. And then people were saying loadouts, they're the key. It's like, okay, fine, but they take ages to do for a 5-minute clip, and it's just like, I'm gonna do all this and get what, hardly any views. But I know everybody was doing it. With some people have suggested to me, in comments and stuff like that, why don't you focus only on indie games, because nobody else does that. And I thought, oh, okay, so you do start with some of them, but then you kind of think, well, I do like some non-indie games, but I know I've seen a lot of big YouTubers, they all focus on one game or something like that, but some of them don't. They do focus on, like you say, the trending game, and whatever it is now, what it's, there's a game called Go Faster, I can't remember what it's called, Go Up or something, or Battle Bit or anything like that. They all focus on it. It's like, here's the new game and we're all playing it. But then if I play it, it's just like, well, all the new players or new viewers are watching the big channels. They're not watching the small channels, because they don't want to watch the small channel play Battle Bit. They want to watch the big YouTubers play Battle Bit. So they're not going to come to see you. So then you think, well, is there any point? You know, you can try to follow the trend, but you just know that if you do, as you found out before, if you try to change your channel too much, some of your core subscribers won't leave, but they won't watch your stuff, or they might say, oh, what are you doing this for? So I tend not to. I do get some people, like I say, who suggested things to me, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But sometimes I do, you know. But I think it's more a case of, do I feel comfortable doing whatever it is in the world of gaming? Somebody suggested an RTS game, and I was like, no chance. But then I picked one, Army Men RTS. My goodness, I actually did really well. I got nearly to the end of the game. It's about 30 odd episodes, and that is intense for me for an RTS game. I don't play, but I enjoyed that one. But it wasn't one that most people have heard of. Nobody's heard of Army Men RTS with little plastic soldiers running around, but I loved it. It's a brilliant concept. So I like playing those things, but it's just hard when you see the big YouTubers. I say big, I don't mean the million views, even the 100,000 subscriber things. They, like you say, they all focus on, like, oh, I can't remember, I keep saying Hell Awaits, it's the name of a Slayer album, but it's whatever it's called, Hell Let Loose. The game came out and everybody played it. I've got it and nobody's playing it anymore. So it's like, what's the point? I'll go on there to an empty server. So it's a weird one. You kind of got to juggle your own happiness and your own enjoyment over the trend. And some of them do it. They can do it, but if they do switch, if they always play Overwatch or whatever it's called, and that's all they play, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, the newest game comes out, a big massive multiplayer game, and they go, we're going to switch to this, it's completely different, and we'll watch that. Everyone will just follow them because they love that YouTuber. They've already got that fan base, and if they lose about 1,000 people not subscribe but just not watching it, it doesn't matter to them. Whereas if I say, well, I'm going to completely switch off now, I'm not going to do gaming now, I'm going to do some flower arranging videos, we're going to watch me create some flowers here, what about this lovely tulips, and what about this hydrangea, it's beautiful, and everyone will be like, what the hell is this rubbish? So yeah, it's not something for me.
Do you know what? If you want to do that series one day, I'll do that series, but the end of that show would go very differently, because you do the tulips and water them and sort of, okay, now over to Lauren, who's going to set them on fire. Like, I do that. But like, I totally understand, because my resentment, and it's not a good thing to hold, because you should be happy for anyone that's successful in their own way. But I guess what I resent is that when we started, YouTube was a platform that, yes, seemed to favour certain types of content. Like the whole point behind the name of my channel is that everyone was angry when I started. Everyone was the most shocked, angry, upset ever at whatever it was they were talking about. And it was tiresome. It was boring listening to people go on and on and on about this is the worst thing and it sucks and this is worse than cancer. And you go, but it isn't. It really isn't. Like, I promise you, Terminator 3 is not the worst movie that there's ever been, and it's worse than if Hitler came back and all this other stuff that you used to hear from YouTubers. And like, you go in the opposite direction, you try to do something different, and you try to do something with some conviction and some quality and some principle. But more and more, it seems to me like the people that make a success are the most, how do I say this? Thieves. I'll just say it like that. Like they copy their content from other people. They copy their mannerisms. They copy their delivery. They copy their pathology, their execution, their paths to success, their revenue streams. There's nothing really that I see in terms of the prominent creators that I look at and I go, that guy's doing something that their audience is actually getting something out of. A lot of people are being force-fed crap. And then, like I say, there's people like us. And I know that you would probably agree like me, like my content could always be improved. Like I always look at it, think that could have been better, could sharpen that, could make that a bit better. I could be better, right? But I hold myself to an editorial standard, and I know you do too. And yet we seem to be punished for that. And I still can't really understand why. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, apart from obviously just, you know, crap is easier to make, therefore it must be easier to sell? Like, do you have any thoughts on that at all?
I've seen plenty of those famous videos of the top 10 so-and-sos where they just nick it like save from everyone else. And then they go, oh, look at this, #1 is this. And you think, yeah, but I could watch that anywhere. But people, we all watch them. That's the thing. We all watch these top 10 something or others of some description, but they all just nick something from everyone else. Or they do, they'll nick somebody's live stream, a little snippet of it, and just use that in their video. And you think, nah, it's not really your stuff. It does annoy me in a way. I think you'll agree, and so will some other YouTubers that are smallish or whatever. I've been plodding away for years and years, and I haven't seemed to make that one video that just shoots me through the sky, and then everyone goes, oh, who's this guy? And then everyone just subscribes to me and everything else. It never happened. I see, because obviously when you're a small channel, you tend to see it. But I see my subscriber count kind of go up, then goes down, up and down, and then up and down. Well, if you've got like 100,000 subscribers, you probably don't even care about that damn bloody button. But you look at it, you think, oh, I've got another subscriber because I got one today. It's like, yay. Because I'll probably lose it soon, but it's quite nice when you get that one. But I don't want to do that top 10 of everyone else's. I think the nearest I've done for my own thing is I've done my own, not montages, but I've done like the best bits and the worst bits of it. That's always Battlefield, because that's just the easiest. I've got loads of content of that, so I do those ones. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody's. None of my videos have gone viral. The few at the bottom, the review of the game, no, the review of the room. I mean, the room review, that did really well. Can't believe how fast that, and the battle stations one did really well. There's some good ones down there that have just gone through the roof, and they keep. When you look at the analytics, as you so well know, you can look to see which is your top viewed video of the day or of the week, and they're usually there at the top. And you think, my God, there still people watch this video. But to make that jump,
just to jump in, it's backwards, because like you've just said, I'm the same as you. I have a video that still cycles, and I go, guys, it was 2 minutes, and it's the worst video I've ever made. It just happened to catch fire on Twitter. That's it. Yet, because it did that number, the algorithm pushes it and says, well, a few people watched it, so it stands to reason more people would watch it. Rather than, no, you haven't shown them my other stuff. Like, show them that, because no one's seen it, and if someone sees it, someone might fucking like it. Rather than just showing them the same tat over and over again. Sorry to cut off your thought.
No, that makes
I know what
sense.
that's like, because you look at the analytics and you see the same videos popping up over and over again, and you just know it's not necessarily that people are searching out that video. It's just that that video was what was pushed to them, because the algorithm says, well, it has more views comparative to the rest of the stuff on the channel, so that's the one we'll push because it must be the best. Like, no, views do not equal quality. They never have, and they never will.
No, and that's what annoys us all, because you create all the content, and then like you'll look at your homepage and you think, ooh, good, 15 views, that's good. I'm quite amazed with that one. Then I had one that had like 30 views, like, oh, that's good. But it's none of those sort of jump through the roof. I've had odd ones out of a Let's Play, like episode 7 will have like 100, not 100,000, but like 100 views or 500 views, and you're like, huh? But the episode before had like 4, and the episode after had like 7. Ooh, why is this one? And that's because, like you say, people watched it, and then they pushed it, and they said, look at this video, and everyone does. And then they think, well, that's out of context, so I'm not going to watch any more of that one. And you're just like, well, yeah, it does annoy you. The algorithm just sucks. And they say there isn't one, but there bloody is.
No one believes you, YouTube. No one fucking believes you. Let me ask you a question about that. And the thing, because again, I want to focus. This is why I wanted to talk to you, because you and I have more. It's a sad fact that the way the platforms have grown, it kills original creators and small creators. The creators that have no intention of doing thumbnails and that sort of bollocks, right? But what it also means is that the people that have persevered, like you and I and a few others that I know, and I know you know, because we're a community, man. Like, I remember when I started, I was really hot on the idea of we all need to support each other, and it worked to a degree until ads killed it. And it's like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't put in 30, 40 hours of my life each week with no reward, like nothing, not even views. Like, if I got views but didn't get paid, maybe there'd be some gratification in it. But the fact is, this juice is not worth this squeeze. But one of the things that did skew me, and you've kind of hit on it a little bit there, is when a video did do disproportionately well, I used to look at the video and go like, so why? What did I do? What can I take from that and do in the next one so that that one does well too, and maybe a little better, and then after that, like, I'm expressing a willingness to learn and a willingness to grow. But then you did it, and the video would tank, and you'd go, but the thing did the thing. So talk to me about that. I mean, is that something you've encountered where you've been like, or did you just stay the course? Were you like, well, I mean, it did what it did, but I'm still going to do it pretty much exactly the same way, come what may?
It's quite hard with gaming for what I do. So if you do Let's Plays, like, some people don't. Some people do a video and then they wait a week and then do another video. So some people reply and say this, that, and the other. But with the Let's Plays, I've already recorded it. So I've already recorded, I think I've got, like, just looking at my list, I've got 1, 2, I've got 3 sitting in the back waiting to be released, because I'm currently on 3 playlists as it is. So I've already pre-recorded it all. It's already done. So for me to then look at that video to, like, say, it's quite hard again, because if it's a Let's Play and that one video did work really well, I can't really change how I play a Let's Play video because it's based on the game. So if the game is like, I don't know, Sniper Elite, 'cause I'm just releasing them, but that's a co-op one. But if I was doing the single player one, I can't be sort of, I'm running around like a nutter. But then if I'm then playing a casual, relaxing game, then I can't be going, oh my god, look at this, because it's all it is just, I've just moved a bookcase or something like that, and it's just like, it don't really work. Reviews are different though, because I have kind of branched out a little bit when I do watch my videos, and I'm more, I do say at the beginning, because again, I realized why some videos weren't doing well and some were, and somebody said in the actual comments to explain, because they said, oh, this is weird because you've only played this, that, and the other, why don't you do this and that? It's like, well, it's the demo. I play the demos. That's why a lot of my reviews are demos. So now I say at the beginning, this is a game review of the demo of blah blah blah, and that's only because I've watched my own videos and I thought, oh, I suppose people do think I've already got this game, and then they're wondering why I'm starting halfway through a game to show the gameplay, or that I haven't then spent, because some people have said, why didn't you use this key, why didn't you do that? It's like, because I've never used this game before. I just literally go into it, and that's the other thing. I've watched my old videos and I used to spend ages testing it out, whereas now I just sort of think, well, I'm going to just go in as is, so it's more raw. Because when you buy a game and you install it, you don't sort of sit there and think, right, I'm going to play it for about 5 times, see if I get used to it, and then I'm going to play the proper game. You don't. You just install it, you look at the options, go, okay, that's the keys, right, I'll leave the video options as they are, I'll go in and play. And that's what I do. So it's more raw footage. So I don't do the editing sequences. I just have it as you would have. And I've got a couple that were completely awful. When you watch them, you think, my God, what the hell was he playing? Because the game was just crap. But that's because I had to fiddle around with the video settings. But then I kept that in to show that if you kept it as that, then this is what's going to happen on your game. But they don't seem to do very well, bizarrely enough.
Well, I have theories. I mean, the number one thing that I've realized is that it's engagement rather than approval now. in the sense that a video can do exceptionally well despite being exceptionally bad because people talk about it. That's really the only metric. Is it being shared? Is it being liked and disliked? Are people arguing in the comments? Not even the video retention. I've toyed with that a lot. Like, okay, I know people are tuning in for 2.5 minutes and then they're tuning out. Right, what can I do at the 2.5 minute mark to hook them back in? That doesn't seem to be very useful these days because people sort of make up their minds anyway. So I think one of the things that's frustrating as it relates to what you've just said there is that, like, you're trying to make something ultimately that's actually consumer oriented and useful. Like I said, the audience is actually getting something tangible out of the video because, like you said, you approach a game for the first time and it could just be as simple as, and I reviewed a couple of, I think I reviewed like 5 games back to back over a month just to kind of dip my toe back in. One of the games I ragdolled was because, man, navigating this fucking game, just tapping up and down to select start game was a chore. But then you go into the gameplay and how it looks and oh, flashy and oh, enemies and yeah, I get that you could sell a game on that, but I'm telling you as a consumer, you're going to boot it up and you're going to fucking hate your life as you do it because it's going to be so terrible. But for some reason, unless that's tied in with something controversial or something that you can say that you know people are going to go, oh, come on, Crow, you bang out of order for that, you know, and then people jump in and say, no, Crow's right, man, blah, blah, blah. It's conflict. And, like, I don't want to subscribe to that, I guess. I don't know if you may disagree with my assessment of the situation, but I just feel like when we started, again, the emphasis was more on communities and getting along, like channels being cool with other channels, like, you know, maybe covering each other's stuff or moonlighting on each other's channels, that sort of stuff. It doesn't seem to be that way anymore. It seems much more, like I say, controversial and conflict-oriented. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about the, like I say, the intro, not the intro, but the starting up of a game where it takes ages to get through something, because that is something that people need to know. Because there's nothing worse than buying a game because everyone said, oh, it's fantastic, look at this gameplay. You think, oh, that looks really good. And then you start it up and like, how the hell do I even start the game? Because that's what I do. I always show that at the beginning, within reason, of course. But I don't really have anybody yelling and screaming in my comments. I don't have many comments.
No, me neither.
But I have had trolls. I had one lovely back and forth with a troll. It was quite funny when he told me, oh, you should stop recording stuff because you're no good at it. So I thought, oh, okay then. So I started replying, so what do you want me to do then instead? And so we went back and forth, and in the end, after I tried again, he decided to leave. And I thought, oh, okay, fine, whatever. But it was quite enjoyable. Aha! The cat is in.
And by the way, as far as trolls are concerned, yeah, me too. Used to have it with what was it? It was my name, because it was so your name's Lawn, is it? Ah, well, do you know that's like grass? Ha ha ha.
Oh.
Go, oh. Do you know what? You're the first person that's ever said that. Have a cookie. Trolls. Do you know what? I kind of miss trolls. I gotta be honest with you. I don't get trolls anymore. Trolls tend to linger on social media sites. I don't really see them in the comments anymore. Comments tend to be either just sort of tacit approval, like good job, good video, you know, I liked it, or occasionally there might be like someone pops up with a bit of insight, like they might have something like, oh, by the way, so and so did this thing, you should maybe check it out, or it's crazy to think that this person did this, right? Again, it's weird that YouTube isn't really, I wouldn't say it's social media oriented anymore. It's kind of a thing unto itself. Like even something as small as the fact that, and you'll probably remember this because it was a thing when you started, like it was me, you used to be able to just click a thing while the video was uploading and it would automatically ping to all of the social media sites that you were linked to. So you didn't then have to share it everywhere 5, 6, 7 times and change the format, re-upload a picture or a thumbnail or something. Like, for whatever reason, like I say, YouTube has become less and less friendly to that style of content creator who doesn't have an inbuilt audience and has to work hard to market their stuff. I mean, I guess that's a question in of itself. Like, how do you go about it differently than when you started, or do you still predominantly just go, I'll upload the video, I'll tweet about it, I might post about it somewhere else, or do you try and G people up?
I kind of do what you suggest. You said I just do my own thing. I just kind of do. I know what I have my schedule in a way. I have loads of videos still to render, so I render those when I can be bothered, and then I upload them usually on a Saturday night when I'm watching films. And then I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm just editing them, making the thumbnails. Then stick them on schedule, and that's it. And then because they're Let's Plays, you release them like each week because they're just continuous Let's Plays. Regarding the troll thing, I do see a lot of trolls in online gaming. It's brilliant when I play Battlefield. The best one ever was not the best one, but I've had quite a few. I was playing Battlefield. If you've never played it, then you'll not know it, but I'm pretty sure you can see it playing them on videos. And I was running around on Team Deathmatch and dropping claymores down. So obviously a claymore's a one kill, instant kill. And some guy was moaning that I was putting claymores down. And I says, well, it's a weapon. I can put it down, can't I? You use a shotgun. And so we went on and on. And at one point, his teammates were telling him to shut up, as well as my teammates, because I ended up putting, oh, just cry me a river. So he kept on going on and on and on, and went, that river's getting full. And then everyone just started kicking him off, and he got kicked out of the server eventually. It was quite funny though. I enjoyed that. That was a good bit of banter, and I don't mind. I control people myself. When me and my mate got involved with there was some sort of weird discussion going on about Pepsi at one point when we joined, and we thought, what the hell's this going on about here? So we typed up something, and they said, who are you? I said, well, we're just joining the conversation. Everyone's supposed to be gaming, but we're just typing. But it's weird trolling the trolls. It's quite enjoyable in a weird way. It makes your night go better.
It certainly gives you reps because there's no end of them, or at least again in my experience, there's not really the same. I think they're located elsewhere these days, at least in my circles. But yeah, it used to be a case that you used to have to navigate that. And the thing is, man, I can't lie and say that they didn't used to get to me to a certain degree. Like there was some comments where it's like, oh man, this guy's know what he's talking about, and I'm like, literally researched the video for this. Like, you can go and check this stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But you mentioned something there, and this is something that I think is a great way to segue back into you and what you do to kind of put a bow on things. But this is probably something that we should touch on as, again, I don't think people understand and realize, again, with the way content is normally formulated in the mainstream. Editing, filming, post-production, uploads, checks, first renders, second renders, third renders sometimes if there's a mistake that just won't go away. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about how you stay motivated to go through the editing process, to go through the production process, the recording process, all of this stuff that goes unseen, goes unrewarded largely because it's all just part of, well, if you want to do it, this is what you've got to do. But you, like I know, it can sometimes break your heart. It's like, man, it didn't record, or it didn't. You click render, you go to bed, you wake up the next day, and it had a problem. Wait, what?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So talk to me about that.
Well, obviously, as most viewers don't realize, as like you just said, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I mean, a video doesn't just pop up. Even the big YouTubers that produce like a 10-minute video, that hasn't just appeared out of thin air. They've had to create it. So for me, because it's gaming, it depends. If it's a game review, then I just do about half an hour. That's it. It's easy. If it's a Let's Play, I have to play the game. So that means I have to play it most nights. I can't play it all the time, obviously, because of family stuff. So I'll do maybe about an hour on a Wednesday, an hour on a Thursday, or something like that. But I have to play the entire game. Then you have to, like I say, you have to edit it using whatever you use. I use a movie studio. Some people use Vegas. Some people use other stuff as well. You have to edit it, but you can cut it. It's easy on a game because you can just find where the rough half an hour is and go, I'll split it there. If it's a Battlefield, then again, it's just what it is. If it's the hardest one for me to ever edit, which I haven't done for a while, but I'm going to start doing some more of, is the loadouts of Battlefield, because it's where I record an hour, but then I condense it down to 5 minutes. So you've got to watch the video, write down all the time of where the little bits were that you really liked, Then you have to edit those little 5-minute little bits out. Then you have to join it all together. Then you have to watch it, make sure it sounds okay, and then you have to do the audio separately, so that you can stick the audio in to coincide with the timestamps that you've just done, and then you render that 5-minute video. But that can take you about 3 or 4 days, and that's what people don't realize for that. But I don't do those. I mean, I know you do other stuff as well. So, but for gaming, it is just it's a lot easier, unless you do the montage kind of clips, what a lot of people do. But I don't do those. But then there's the editing, which I do at a certain point. The render, I tend to do it when I'm walking the dog, or if I'm just doing stuff around the house. But it's usually a case of, right, I'm going to take the dog out, put the render on for the half-an-hour one. It takes about 45 minutes. I'll bugger off and go and do the dog, come back, and it's all sorted. But I can only do so many. I don't want to do every night, because that means the computer's being used. Then you have to upload it. It takes ages. Then you have to edit it, you know, put in the tags and stuff, find a thumbnail. And it just takes ages. And I don't know how I stay motivated. I just enjoy it. Sometimes I don't. I mean, there's like a week, like this week, it's just like, oh, I can't be bothered thumbnailing. I'll do it next week. You know, or I can't be bothered rendering. I just want to watch a film, and not even a review film. I just want to watch a film. So it does get a bit, especially considering with a gaming channel. If you are releasing stuff like I release quite a lot constantly, I've got to keep up with it, no matter what. So I can't sort of stop and start and think I'll do it next week or whatever, because I won't have that. I'll have to keep doing it. It's just, it does drag you some points, but other times it doesn't. But you can have it going in the background, the render. It's all the other stuff that just kills your time. And then with Movie Studio, I don't know whatever software you use, but with Movie Studio, I have this stupid thing that if you click the mouse at a certain spot, it puts this stupid loop in, and it's just like, what's this? And you can't delete it. You can add one, but you can't delete it. And you're like, Phuff. So you've got to. Before I had to more or less delete it all and start again. Whereas now I've figured out how you can sort of like move it to the right hand side away from your video, and it disappears, which is bizarre. But yeah, that used to annoy the hell out of me when you just accidentally click a mouse button. And the cat is now in, but I'll talk to you in a minute, so you can pause it afterwards. So there you go.
It's when it starts to feel like a job that it really becomes a grind. Like some days you just want to go and you just want it to be up, because you want to talk about it, but then part of it is like, you go, man, then I got to do this and I got to do that, and then it might not. It's not a creatively fluid experience. It's not something that lends itself well to just getting on with it. Which, again, I appreciate. That's why a lot of people go short format, or they go onto the other platforms, because they can literally hit record. There's a mini editing software buried in the app itself that they use, and they rejig it and post it, and immediately that then goes into cycles. You know what I mean? It gets put.
Yeah.
It gets literally put in front of people that don't have a choice as to whether or not they wanted to click on it. Whereas our stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter whether or not we tag it. It doesn't matter if we announce it, name it, thumbnail it to death. If people don't come across it, they don't see it. And
yeah,
that's why the short stuff is really... I did it as an experiment. And I'm going to say this now. It's really going to hurt me. I'm so disappointed in all of you. I really am. Because the shorts I did only as an experiment to kind of prove the point of, oh, look, it's not going to make a difference. No. It made quite a difference. Quite a significant difference, as it turns out. One of my interviews did like 100 views. Just a 60-second segment of it did like 2,500. And you're like, you
Jeez.
Sons of bitches. I mean, thank you for the views, but also, fuck all of you. Go watch the full fucking thing like you're supposed to. But that's me fighting the times, almost. That's me trying to harken back to, let's go back to VHS tapes and fucking, dial-up internet and shit. I get the world's moved on, but I think it's important that we retain some elements of where we come from in the content that we make, because we're supposed to represent when we were as much as what we are, because I think there's still something to it. I think there's a lot to be garnered from the stuff that we do, which brings me neatly back into you. In terms of what you do day to day, week to week, month to month now on the channel, and indeed year to year with your thank you videos and a couple of the more the videos where you opine more, or you go into detail about a topic more as opposed to covering a game or another subject. What are things that like still excite you? Like, what are some of the moments or some of the experiences or some of the interactions, or like what about being a YouTuber or a content creator, if you want to call us that, do you still get jazzed up about? Like, what are some of those things for you?
Well, it is nice when I get a comment. Like I say, it could be anything small. I don't know. For me, just I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've done the shorts. I did 3 of those. They did a fantastic amount of views, 90 odd, I think, was one of them. So it's just like, but I don't know. I think the things that excite me when I do my channel stuff is I might do something a bit kind of out there. I keep harking back to Battlefield because it's just one of my. I could talk about the history of how I got into gaming in a bit if you wanted to, but basically. I've done like the montages, as I say before, and I watch those myself. I do rewatch my own stuff, not all the time. If I was to rewatch all my stuff, I'd be bored. But it's quite nice to rewatch some of the videos, and it's quite funny listening to it and think, oh, that's actually quite. I remember that was quite fun. So that they're quite good to rewatch now and then. I don't know. It's hard because why do I still enjoy it? I don't know. I just love it. I just love creating stuff. Sometimes people have suggested games for me to play, and I've gone, oh, okay, then I'll play this game, and then I get feedback from it. One person absolutely loves all my Civ stuff. That's Craig. So he loves that. He loves my Civ stuff, and he's like, oh, brilliant, you've bought more stuff. So I love doing that, and I love Civs anyway. I love Civs. So I'm quite. Once I find a set of things I enjoy, then it's enjoyable just to release them. Going, oh, look at this, and then I'll release these games that are completely out there for game reviews. One I think it might be released next week. I think, or is it? Yeah, it's definitely next week. I think there's a game that's going to be out. I think it's either this week or next week. I can't check because I haven't got my computer thing. It's literally the first game on Steam, so I've got that one. And then there's just all these weird things. People are like, oh, no one's ever reviewed this. And I thought, I know, isn't it great? Because nobody's reviewed this game and I reviewed it. But then I don't get the views, but I don't really care. I still like the interactions of some people coming in, or even on the big games, and some people come in, as in my top views, and they'll say, oh, thank you so much for this, or have you looked at this game, or to solve that you could do this with your graphics card, to do that, and then I pin them. So it is nice when you get that interaction. If you have no comments at all and no views, then you're like, nah. Whereas when you get some, it's quite nice. It's hard to kind of say, because with gaming, for what I do, I don't create the montages as such that a lot of people do, and I don't do the live thing that a lot of big YouTubers do, with or without the camera. Most of them do with the camera, but because they do the live thing, they can get the not interaction. The viewers can not interact, relate more to the person that they're watching. They go, oh, I really like this guy because he does this. They go, oh, what's he going to do now? La la la, and they can really relate to him. Whereas with mine are already pre-recorded, so somebody can say, you really need to move here and collect all the items. Like, I already recorded this 4 years ago, but thanks very much. But it's just things like that. It just, the whole thing excites me, even though people would look at me and think it's the run-of-the-mill stuff, but it's not. My stuff is, not always, but it's kind of the weird games. Even the playlist I've got going at the moment, guarantee, well, one of them you won't be able to play because it doesn't exist on Steam anymore. But that was just absolutely hilarious. I love some of the games, and you play them and you think this is fantastic. Some of them are awful, But a lot of them are really fun. So it's just the fun element. I love fun. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, because you've experienced the same thing as me, is in the sense that I reviewed a lot of indie games. A lot of them didn't have reviews, and you find weird and wonderful stuff, and then you find dregs, and then you find things that wish they were dregs, and you go, okay, there's levels to this, but there's a unique experience to share with each interaction with each viewer, and that's why I sometimes worry if I. Not that I ever will, I don't think. I think if I was gonna, I was now. But, like, if suddenly I had 10,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers, right, which is an ungodly number to me. I know people, personally, who have those numbers and way more. But to me, the fact that there's 400-odd people that would, if I put something out that they were moderately interested in, watch it, is fucking crazy. Like, there's just something about the idea of going into a theatre and seeing it filled with people to see you do something. That's not lost on me. And yet, in this age, it is. Like, the idea of walking into a theatre and seeing it filled, and you go, there's only 500 people here. Like, okay. Are 500 people going to turn up to hospital if you get hit by a car tomorrow? I don't think so. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that have turned up to see you do something that you hopefully love and enjoy. But at the same time, like you say, those minor interactions, those things that then blossom into legitimate friendships. Like, I've made some great friends through YouTube, man. Some real top people who I've been corresponding with, met, gone into massive discussions, collaborated, done a bunch of stuff. And YouTube, through that perspective, has been great from a community building perspective, just personally, rather than as less of a creator to fan experience. Like, I don't know if I have fans. I think I'd feel weird if someone said they were a fan of mine. I don't know how if someone said they were a fan of yours, how would you feel?
Like I say, I don't think I've got fans. I've got people who reply. I've got a specific same amount of people that reply, but they don't reply to every video. So they might only like certain types of videos, certain types of games, or whatever. And some people even just reply to a video about something completely irrelevant to do with the video, just because it's the easiest way to reply to me. Like I say, it would be a bit weird if somebody says, I'm a true fan, I watch all your stuff, you know, every minute that they come out, I watch them, I go to sleep watching them. I'll be like, what the hell? Get a life, man. You know, there's plenty of stuff out there. Read a book. I
imagine you'd be nicer than that, though, but you'd have the same feeling as me, which is, but why me? Like, I appreciate you watching, and I love the fact that you like what I do, but I don't see it that way. I see it as, I made something and I'm just glad you saw it. I'm not really looking for you to idealize me. Like, fandom implies idealization, and I'd be the first person, I'm sure you would, to say, you should never fucking, number one, never listen to a word I say. Everything I say is bullshit. And secondly, you shouldn't idealize me in any way, shape or form, because that tells me that you want to emulate me in some way. I barely want to do the things that I do, and I don't agree with half the things that I do, so fuck, you shouldn't do them either. But there's something endearing to the notion that you've got people that would, if they were pushed, let's say, no, I will tune into him if he does something every week because I enjoy him. I like seeing him do what he does. And that pure joy, like you, by the way, is what often keeps me going. It's the idea that I try not to look at the views as a number of people comparative to people in the world, because that's where the metrics get skewed. It's like, oh, well, so-and-so's got 100 million subscribers, I don't. Right. So, you still have an audience, you still have a platform, and those people owe you nothing. They don't have to subscribe to you, they don't have to watch your stuff. The fact that they do, and they take the time, even if they have negative feedback, it's a fucking blessing, man. I've got no other way to describe it. I'm internally grateful for anyone that gives this or anything else I've made or watched, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I basically, when I have subscribers or anybody watching it, that's why I say on my thank you videos, thank you for anybody who's watched my stuff, because it means that somebody likes it. If I only get like 10 views, doesn't mean that 10 people have watched it, because you can watch it about 3-4 times before the views disappear from that same person, if you know what I mean. I think they did it that way. It's a probably good idea, but it's still quite nice when you, even if you see a one with 30 or 40 views, which is weird because most YouTubers would be like, 30 views, how crap is that? It's like, I don't really care, as long as that means that 20 people have watched that video, 20 or 30 people have watched it and enjoyed it. Maybe not enjoyed it, I don't know, but they've watched it. And so that's good, and that's what I kind of I strive for. I like entertaining people in that way. And the subscribers, yes, they come and go. You always see it fluctuates. Like I say, mine's 320 at the moment. It was 319, then it'll jump to 321, and it's like, yeah, okay, but it still means that the other 300 are still watching my stuff. They might not be watching my stuff. They might have subscribed and forgot all about it and wandered off to TikTok or whatever. But it's just like, I don't mind. Now and then they might just see it pop up in their feed and think, oh, he's done a new review. I'll go and watch that one. I'll watch that and see what it's like. But again, most people don't reply. So I don't get the army of, I don't get 300 comments coming up. I don't get 300 views coming up instantly. But it's still nice when I see views, because it means someone out there, whoever they are, has watched my video, and it's the enjoyment factor, you know. And I think when you get higher up the scoreboard, as it were, when you release a video and you get like 100,000 views, you probably don't really care too much. You just see the 100,000 and think, good, that's done well, and move on. Whereas I'll be like, ignore the zeros on the end and get to the 10. I'm like, oh, 10 people, even 100. Oh my god, 100 people watch my video. And that's what kind of excites me in a weird way.
And that's it's hard. It warms the cockles of my heart to hear, because again, I the question that always digs at my heart the most when I'm asked what I do is, and I'm sure you get this too, so how much money do you make? As if that's the, so wait, let me get this straight. You think, I mean, look, it would be lovely one day to monetize the stuff I do, right? But that boat sailed, 2016, so where are we now? 7 years ago. 7 years have gone by since it was possible for people to make a realistic living on YouTube doing fairly low level, but ultimately consistent, well put together content. Yeah, dude, I don't do this for money. I do this because I think, number one, it's important that a certain style of content exists, but also I can't tell you why I love it, but I do. I do it anyway, and I do it a certain way without the monetary incentive. Plus, I can't lie and say that the money wouldn't skew it anyway. Like, the idea then you become hooked on just making money from your content would then take you away from what you wanted to do. I mean, no offense to KSI and a lot of those guys. Look at their earlier stuff compared to what they do now. They're like fucking view addicts, man. They just, every video has to be bigger, better. Fuck, I need my next hit of fucking algorithm juice, where it's like, guys, you can't keep going like that forever. There's only so much you have to garner from the audience that exists in the world before someone comes and outdoes you. So again, like harkening back to what we were talking about earlier, maybe it's just better to find that happy balance. Just find your audience and appreciate them, rather than like the 100,000 people. Fine, but do any of them care about me or me them? No. Whereas the people that watch my videos, I mean, fuck, I'll be honest, I know a lot of them by name. Like, I'll be like, oh, so and so. Just tuning in, man. Like, it's almost like friends supporting friends, and like, I don't want that to be lost in the shuffle of things, but I fear that it is. So rather than spending more time lamenting what could be rather than what is, let's touch on something that you just mentioned there, because I think this is a nice little segue into the last little thing that I want to touch on, which is, you mentioned your sort of the beginning of your fondness for gaming, or your love of gaming. So how did you get, was it something that you did as a kid? Was it something you were introduced to later on? Was there like a pivotal moment for you where you were like, man, these pixels are cool and I can make them do stuff. This is pretty sick. So like, where did it start for you?
Years and years ago, I used to play like PlayStation games with my mate. The PlayStation 1. Talking about the old school stuff, and then he used to come round. This used to happen on a Thursday night. We never did it on a Friday, because we used to go out on a Friday. So on a Thursday we'd get absolutely hammered. You know, got work the next day, but who cares? So we used to just play things like Wolfenstein, or then we played Civs, and Football Manager, because you could play them with two people sat next to each other while you're playing these games. And then at one point, I got into Call of Duty, but the very first Call of Duty, not the ones that are like now, you know, the original World War II one. So I was playing that, and there was none of this stuff like there is now. It's just basically you got your rank, you finished the round, your rank went back to 0 again, and you carried on. And I enjoyed that, and I joined. Well, I didn't join as such, but I played alongside an American clan called the TAMS, who were all like Mr. Boston, Mr. New York, and all this lot. And then I was just Kronenbourg. It was like, okay, but I was the only English person there, but they accepted me into their fold, and they were the ones that, in the world of Call of Duty, you could mod games. You could create. I don't know if you ever played the original Call of Duty, but you sort of log into the game, and you click on a map, and it would download instantly for you this new mod, and then you would play the map that somebody's created. You could create a map, and they created loads of maps and modes and stuff like this, and it was enjoyable. I used to play with them all the time. And then my mate was like saying to me, he says, you want to have a look at Battlefield, because you can play as a sniper, as a recon, as a assault and stuff like this. And I thought, oh, okay, then I'll have a look at that. I don't know. Had a go. My first round of I remember exactly what map it was. It was Karkand, and I'm running around, and I got this just been recommended for an award. I thought, oh my god, somebody's recommended for an award. It wasn't, obviously it was the in-game thing. I got an award for a certain amount of kills. Stayed on Battlefield, and then I joined the Aliens clan because they were fed up with me asking questions about how to play the game. So they just said, sod this, just get him into the clan. So I got in the clan, and then from there we kind of stayed on Battlefield 2. This is Battlefield 2 days, and 2142 and that sort of stuff. And then we got into ladders and competitions and stuff. So we did that. We got into, in Battlefield 2, we got into clan base, an enemy down, I think it was, and we actually got to the final of the enemy down, which was against a good clan that half my clan then moved to, which was annoying for us. But we got there at the end, and they said it was a brilliant round, but we obviously came second. So we did all that, and so I enjoyed Battlefield. I moved through all Battlefield, and then when I got to Battlefield 3 and 4, that's when my love blossomed a lot more, and that's when I thought, oh, I can record more stuff. You know, eventually I can record, and that's where it all came from. So it all came from playing Civs and Football Manager, which I play Civs now still, moving to Call of Duty, moving then to Battlefield, doing clan matches, natural scrims and stuff like that, and then moving up. Our clan's kind of disbanded, but I'm still calling myself an alien because I always will be. Yeah, and that's where I am. And then I just create this channel, and I do a lot of Battlefield on my channel. I record every time that I'm on now with my mates. If I'm on my own, I don't bother. But if I'm on with my mates, I record everything, because there's always something that happens, and I love it. And that's how I then moved to become a YouTuber. So yeah, that's my story.
I guess a silly side question: what do you get out of gaming? What about the medium or the genre is so appealing to you as someone that's obviously you've kind of developed and grown with it, and it's become part of your life in such a way that you cover it on a regular basis through what you play? But what do you get out of it? Like what's the appeal of gaming to you, if you could sort of boil it down, I guess?
Escapism, I would say, is definitely one of the phrases. Obviously, you can't go running around with a machine gun. Well, you could do, but you'll get shot, or put in prison or whatever. It's just the whole thing. If I'm playing multiplayer, pardon me, like the Battlefield thing, then that's more of it's a bit different than the normal YouTube stuff. So the normal YouTube stuff, I can just go in and I'm trying something new review. I don't know what this game is. Let's see what it is. I've got one that I haven't even played yet, and I'm like, okay, let's play this. Oh, this is really weird, or I'm really enjoying this, or whatever. And I enjoy that. That's the enjoyment factor. I enjoy that. That's just why I like playing games, because you get to play all sorts of stuff. And when you do the Let's Plays, again, it's something completely different. You think, well, let's have a go for this. Let's enjoy this. It's a shooting game. It's an adventure game. It's a whatever game it is. But then when I do the Battlefield online with my mates, even though we've kind of disbanded a lot more, there's still a few of us still keep playing, and it's the more camaraderie and the enjoyment factor. We're usually having a few alcohols on, usually on my whiskey, and we just enjoy it, and we're just taking the mickey out of people. We're just enjoying how we play, and we have fun, and that happens on a Friday. Fridays is scheduled for that, strange enough. So usually from about 8 till 1, I could be playing Battlefield, and I love it. And it's just, for that, it's just you get into the moment. And any big gamer, not big gamer, but I don't mean those that play for money and stuff, but any that just plump themselves in front of a console, whatever it is, bring out whatever game it is. Usually it's best if it's a multiplayer sort of thing, can just lose themselves in that game. And that's it. You can, the hours just tick by. And I get moaned at sometimes, why are you playing that? Why don't you just read a book? It's like, I can read a book, but you know, but with the gaming, I enjoy it. I mean, you don't even have to do the multiplayer. It could be single player. You could play some of the, like, Fallout and stuff like that, and really get into it and just play it for hours and really enjoy it, because you enjoy everything about it. There's all new things to go for, like open world games like Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've played that, still never finished it, but you can go off and do so many side missions, and it's just nice to think, what do I want to do tonight? I don't want to record. I'll just play some Ghost Recon. I'll just do that, and it's just enjoyable. That's enjoyable and escapism. You can feel like you're there.
Yeah, you hear no arguments from me. You know, it's why I started on games. Games, I find a medium that continues to surprise me in how it under and overperforms. Sometimes games hit me in ways you don't expect, and there's games that you go, oh dear, never mind. But as is the case with most genres, I suppose. But with gaming, there's an extra level of disappointment. I'm looking at you, Cyberpunk. But nevertheless, final question. This might be a tougher one for you to explain or elaborate on, because I don't know if it's something I've wrestled with successfully. Because I, probably like you and a lot of other creators, have often contemplated, I don't want to do this anymore. I think I'm done. I don't know if there's anything more. I mean, is there any blah, blah, blah. And then you keep going anyway. Or you find in a renewed vigor. But sooner or later, it's all going to be said and done. If Elon takes over YouTube like he took over Twitter, he'll make it a monetizable thing where you have to pay to upload a fucking video, I imagine. Or just simply, you know, creators like us will get phased out with time because we'll be seen as an antiquated part of its history. So at some stage, we're going to have to reckon with the fact that we're not going to be able to do this in the same way anymore. So my question is, when all is said and done, and because you've uploaded like 2,700 videos, I think, something like that. That's a massive library, a back catalogue of work, you know, a significant portion of your life and an investment. What do you hope to have achieved with that, in yourself or in the eyes of the people that saw your stuff? Like, what do you want your legacy to be when all is said and done, do you think? It's a hard one, because again, I've genuinely thought about last year. I think I was like, I'm going to make a video. It's going to say, right, that's it. Bye.
I saw that.
And it was not something that could not have happened. It could, had it been on a worse day where someone had cut me up on the road and my milk was off, I might have posted it, and I might have then gone, well, no, I guess that's that then. So it's not like I've wrestled with it, because I do wrestle with it, but it's the thing of but I still want to keep going. But invariably, one day I'm going to have to look back at it, and I'm going to have to ask the question, like, am I happy with what I did? Am I proud of what I did? Did I enjoy what I did? Did people enjoy what I do? Like, all these questions, like, how do you wrestle? Like, again, when you look back at what you've done so far and how far you've come, like, how do you wrestle with that, do you think?
I think I'll be fine in a weird way, because The fact that people, for me, I'll have then thought, well, I produce a lot of content. People have enjoyed it. Yes, it's ended, but if I still enjoyed doing what I was doing, and I brought happiness to somebody, whoever it was. Even if I was moaning and whinging like I usually do, it's brought maybe a smile to people's faces. It's weird because, like you say, you just don't want to think of that time. Would I move to another platform? I don't know. Would I upload it all again? God help me. I mean, there's so much I've uploaded. It's some of the early videos are huge. So
do you still keep them?
Yes, I do.
Wow. I mean, I have my original PC with my first few videos on, but like I think I've got 4 years worth of content that's not backed up. It's all on YouTube, and that's it. So
you can download it, obviously, but
you can download it, but then it's like, oh shit, I've got to download fucking 300-400 fucking videos.
yeah, exactly. No, mine are all on externals. But I could go to another channel, another platform, because if YouTube does go, like you say, maybe, I don't know, we don't know, if it did become like that, a lot of the other YouTubers or the other people watching it might just think, not going to bother with that channel. Where other platform? What else have we got? Oh, this place is doing really well. It's jumped out of nowhere. It's based in, I don't know, Panama or something like that. Nothing to do with America. So let's go and watch stuff from there. And then I could just pop up and go, hey, look at me, I'm new. And unfortunately, I'm the new ones. No one else has joined here yet, so it's just me. So I could be like the one that just shoots through the roof. I don't know. I think looking back, it would just be a case of I'm glad that people have enjoyed stuff, and I'll feel happy with that. I've had a lot of enjoyment from it. I've had some bad times on Battlefield. I keep saying Battlefield because it's the only one that I can really kick off and have my emotions going. Whereas when I do a Let's Play or a review, I might go, oh God, this game is just driving me mental, because that's how I'm feeling at the time, because people don't say that. They just go, this is a fantastic game, I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I'm like, oh God, this bloody metal. And I just don't like it. But I enjoy the whole thing. I enjoy the whole experience. Grateful for everybody who's watched it or will be watching it in the future. But no, I'm just glad that people just be happy that I'm just happy. Basically, it's a weird world. I'm not known to always be happy. I'm known to be a bit grumpy. But it's a weird question because I can't really answer it as such. I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry. The super duper last question won't be like, okay, so when are you done then? Like, tell us. Like, I only ask that because, again, it's a weird thing that I've kind of contemplated more and more recently with the rise of Twitch and Twitter. Twitch and TikTok and Instagram, and now YouTube seems to be just. The fact that YouTube on a mobile app opens on the shorts now, it just auto defaults to the shorts. It just tells me that the algorithm and the way that content is presented to people is changing, because they've recognized and understood that the ads don't work. Like, I don't know about you, dude. I don't fucking buy anything that YouTube puts in front of me as an advert in front of the video that I'm trying to watch.
Same here. I don't really care about buying some desk units from so and so. I don't really care.
Well, no, right, YouTube, Google. I don't want to go on holiday. I haven't had an accident at work in the last few years. My penis is perfectly fine. It really is. And I don't need a new car, in that order. Okay, now that we've cleared that up, stop putting adverts in front of all my fucking videos and stop making them 20 seconds long and unskippable. You're taking minutes off my life. But my point is that, like, there's gonna come a time where they go, right, guys, I mean, you can make a 10-minute video if you want, you can make a 5-minute video if you want, but if you want to make more, you're gonna have to pay, because we can't host that kind of content anymore, because we're not seeing people watch for 2 hours, 3 hours. What we're seeing is people will watch for 15 seconds on a continuous loop for an hour or 2 hours. So we just need machine gun ammunition, brother. And I know, and I'm sure you won't be, I'm not equipped to deal with that. I'm not equipped to say something in 10 seconds or 15 seconds or a minute. It's not enough to make the point that I want to make or express myself in the way I want to express myself. But like I say, that I asked you that question because I feel like it's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves. Maybe not right now, but with the speed that things change and platforms rise and fall, I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I feel like at some stage that it will come. Maybe not yet, but it's coming.
But the interesting thing, though, that would actually ruin a lot of gamers. A lot of them. I mean, I don't just mean us small channels. I'm talking about the big channels, because if there's no one doing long form content, well, you know, all those streamers that are doing live streaming, they won't be able to do that because who's going to be watching that? So it will completely knock it all out. I mean, the only way is if there was another platform that was saying, we don't care, you can come here. So let's say Tubar or something like this, and everyone goes there for the big long videos, and then YouTube is just anything about, say, 10 minutes and less. If they did the 10 minutes and less, then I could change I would still go to the other platform that would allow my Let's Plays, because I enjoy doing those, because it's hard to say with a Let's Play, you kind of invest all the time in playing the damn thing, so you just want to release it, whereas a review, it's only 10 minutes or half an hour, so I could easily do a review of a game, drop it down to 10 minutes and release them, so my channel could become Kronenbourg's reviews. I could do that, so I could move with the times, but going to the short form videos of 30 seconds or a minute, gaming is out the window. But gaming, as they so well know, with any of the streaming platforms, especially YouTube, it's like exploded. The amount of revenue that they earn from gaming is it's the most, I think they even said it's the most highest revenue going or something like that, because it's just, you can create content instantly. You don't have to spend ages just creating a script and thinking, right, I've got to get myself ready on camera here. Okay, here we go. Whereas with the game, you just go into it. And I think YouTube, whatever happens in the future, they'll be stupid to say no to games. Maybe some of the other stuff, but they'll be ridiculous, because if they did that, then they'd lose a big chunk, a huge chunk of revenue.
Not renowned for making good decisions, though.
No, I know that. I know that. Well, we can dream.
All right, let's end on a positive note, though. Let's end on a not a moment of self-reflection on a career that's gone. Let's look at a career that still is very much going strong and regularly. Like I checked your uploads. You're far more frequent than me. I think I upload maybe once or twice a month, and then I just sort of dump like 10, 15 videos from the interviews, and then I kind of peace out for 2-3 weeks to do more. Whereas you're in it every single week, man. So the question I had is, in terms of stuff that you haven't done yet, what are you maybe tempted to try, or what are you maybe tempted to cover, or what maybe, if those things aren't applicable to you because you're not really looking at branching out beyond what you've done at the moment, what would you say you're most proud of? Like, what do you like in terms of your catalogue, or in terms of just the work that you put out on a regular basis, some aspect of it? What are you most proud of?
Well, I think the most proud video.
It could be the proudest video. It could be just something about the way you do. Like, I mean, I can't lie. Like, the fact that my interviews often get praised for the questions. Like, no, you ask good questions.
Yeah, but you're good articulated at your words and stuff like that. That's why.
I do waffle though. Don't I? It's okay. I know. It's fine. I'll take that. I take the hit on that. But like, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that maybe not the people that watch, because you know they'll watch whatever question I ask. They can like, you know, what flavor body butter do you like the best? Like, they'd watch it. Whereas when a guest appreciates the questions, or it prompts them to think about things that they've never thought about, I'm proud of that, because I'm like, great, that's something I do that not many other people, if anybody, does. So I'm proud of that. But there's also the videos as well. Like, there's certain videos that you go, man, I'm really proud of that, and it sucks it didn't do better, but it doesn't matter. I still watch that video and I go, fuck, that's a good video. Really happy with that video. So I leave it open to you. Like, excitement as far as what you want to try, or what you want to branch out into, or proudest moment, and I leave it open as to how you want to encapsulate pride in what you've done.
For videos, it's easy, not easy, but I would say the things that kind of I look back and I really, if I really watch them again, is my loadouts. I love those little things. They're only about 5 minutes long per video, but it's quite enjoyable watching me getting sniper shots with an 8x scope on an AEK, which is unbelievable. And so I love watching those for me, as in not recording it, but I love watching them back. The new thing that I've just started doing is, you probably saw the politics one. I enjoyed that. That was quite enjoyable. And some of the other stuff, because I've got my own take on it. I didn't sort of do what everyone else talks about. I just waffled on. They talk about the deliver thing that annoys the hell out of me when they talk about delivering and deliver, the worst takeaway service in the world. So I enjoyed that. And for branching out, I have got some thoughts and stuff. So the films I'm still doing. I love doing the films.
You uploaded yesterday, I believe, if my information is correct.
Yep, yep. So on a Tuesday it comes out.
There you go.
Yep. Wednesday is free. No, hang on a minute. You're right. Wednesday is films. 30s is free. I don't even know my own schedule.
Mate, no one who works hard enough to actually feel good about the work that they do knows what fucking day of the week it is. No, I often forget, like, wait, what? Where are we? Fucking Thursday. Okay, cool. Just checking.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so I love doing those. I think they're a new area that I absolutely love, and I love doing the films. I tend to have my own criteria. I have people who suggest stuff, and then I'll do them. So it kind of breaks my criteria, but I don't really care because somebody suggested it. But my criteria is, strange enough, here we go. So if it's pre-1990, pre-1990, so it's 89 backwards. It can be any film, and if it's after 1990 onwards, it has to be a rating of 4.9 or below in IMDb. So those are all the films that you tend to sort of look, and they're the ones that I'll do. And some of the older ones, I've done some really weird ones. I mean, I can't remember the name of them. There's a black and white one I did. I've done Bats. My God, that was awful. Or The Bat with Vincent Price. I think it was Vincent Price. I don't know what it was. It was a black and white film, but that was quite fun. But I've enjoyed watching those, because I normally usually just watch all my horrors I've got upstairs, or horrors I watch on Prime and stuff like that. But then I started watching these weird ones. It's like, what's this? And then when you watch them, you then get to realize that they've done the other thing. And I think my claim to fame on some of the videos, First Gaming, is where I've had developers reply to me. So I've had only a couple where the small developers have replied to me. One actually said to me about the supermarket one, which I can't remember the name of the game. He actually implemented some of the stuff that I suggested, so it made it a bit better on the demo. So I thought, that's good. But for a film, it was Invasion Planet Earth, and the director replied to me. So I went to his channel, because I was talking in the video about, it's about 140 odd producers in the film. 140 odd producers. I know, it just went on, and I thought, what the hell? And he explains why in his video that he did on his own channel. So I looked at that, watched the entire thing, and then I did a second video explaining about his video, because I asked him if I could create a review based on that, and he said yeah. So I think that was quite nice. I've never had a director reply to me, but that's obviously because it's a small director. I wasn't going to have what's his name, I can't think of their names, Spielberg replying to me or anything like that. But for future films, definitely still reviews and games. But I was toying with it, and I haven't done it yet because I still don't know how to. Or I do know how to do it. I just don't know when. Is the shout outs? People have done it. It's like what you said about the community thing. People have done shout outs, but they usually do this. Okay, welcome to Shout Out Sunday, and to be in with a chance, you have to subscribe to my channel, reply to my channel, comment on every video, give me the thumbs up on every video, blah 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 blah. And I won't have any of that rubbish. So it would be a case of, to watch this video, just watch it. You don't need to subscribe. It'd be nice if you did. You don't need to subscribe. You don't need to thumbs up. You don't need to comment. You don't need to say this is my channel. None of that rubbish. All I'm doing is I'm viewing the channels with less than 500 subs, and I will pick some gaming channels. There'll be gaming channels, obviously, and I'll be picking 3 or 4. They might have like 30 subs or 100 subs, and I'll review a couple of their videos. As in, I'll look at them, give my feedback on them, and sort of say, look, check them out. And I won't do the usual, which then says, and then make sure you subscribe to them, and then subscribe to me. It'd be none of that. I don't like the fact that you have to have these rules, and then everybody replies. I've seen them, we've all been there, and you read them all, and everyone replies, oh, it's fantastic, oh yeah, check out my channel. And then every
the sub
week
for
they
sub
do the
culture
same.
was fucking death for us for a long time, because it was then, right, great, we all have more subscribers, but no one's watching anyone else.
Exactly, because they're just subscribing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing.
It was dreadful.
That's the other thing where we said earlier. I would like 1,000 subscribers, but at least then you've got the 300 or 400 or 500 that you know actually want to watch your stuff. They're not just clicking on you because they've got a chance to get in with a shout out to have their channel reviewed. They're watching they're subscribed to your stuff because they like whatever it is. They could just like my films. They subscribe because they just want to watch the reviews, or they only like my civs. So they subscribe and think, well, you never know, he might release another civs. Oh, he has, brilliant. At least then they're more real, if you know what I mean, than some of the others, in my mind. So for me, the future, maybe the shout out things, I'm still toying with it, I don't know. I was going to do a game guide thing, but my God, it was going to take me ages to do, and I thought, is this going to make anything? Probably not. It'll just kill me off, so it's not going to bother. But yeah, I think that's it really. There's nothing much. I'll just say, yeah, that's about it really.
Which, unfortunately, as any good show, podcast, piece of content does these days, we end with the obligatory. So, where can people find you? Where are your socials? Give it. What platforms are you? So I without being so obtuse, obviously YouTube, and the link will be in the description below for the channel page, so you can check out Crow's channel and just basically go there directly after this interview is done. But in terms of like how people can reach you, how people can suggest to you, how they can support you, because again, support is not just in subbing and watching. It's sometimes just something as simple as if you see my tweet, hey, just retweet it for me, and you know that is enough for me. You know, I tell people constantly that sharing is more important to me than subbing, because I'd rather someone who has no interest in what I do sharing it with people that might, because at least then it's got a chance to fall into the hands of someone that goes, oh man, yeah, I really like what he's talking about, or the rest of it. So that's I guess what I'm asking is, like, where can people find you, where can people support you, and like in terms of where you are, obviously YouTube, but is there anywhere else where people can find your stuff?
Only YouTube. I am on Twitter. My little Twitter link thingamajiggy, because they removed these stupid little icons. Now you got the line. The link thing is there, and I can't remember my name, so it's there.
Don't worry, it'll be in the description of the video.
Thank you, because I don't really look at it that much, if that makes any sense. But in there I have people who do follow me, and so quite a few do share stuff with. Like I say, it's quite good when you get some people and you think, oh, these people, and it's quite nice. To actually contact me as such, I would just say add a comment in the video, whichever video, it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be one from like 5 years ago, it doesn't matter, because I don't have thousands of comments coming up. Some people do, but because I don't have that many, if I see the little icon top up and it says like 3 or 4, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll click on it, and then I'll read the comments. So there's that. There is the community bit, the comments thing in the tab thing, but I don't know if anybody really uses it much. I've tried for a few polls, but I would say reply on the end of a video. That's the best way, because you can just maybe suggest a video, a film, or a game. I am open to them within reason. Don't sort of suggest a AAA film game that's going to cost me 70, £80. That ain't going to happen. Or even a film that's rated 10. I ain't going to watch it. So yeah, that's how to really contact me.
There you go. Well, listen, I appreciate that I'll include myself in this, we can sometimes be grumpy bastards. We've been around for a minute, and you have to understand that YouTube, when we first jumped on, was a much more affluent and prosperous place for people who just had a dream and kind of just wanted to live vicariously through the internet, as opposed to what it is now, which is if you don't come out of the gate with some hot tub party shit, you ain't getting in the door. But we persist, and it warms my heart genuinely that you still persist, because I have always enjoyed when I've tuned in. I'll admit, you know, I try and tune into as many people's as I can, so it means that I don't have time to check out everything everyone does. But it's that thing of, I drop into channels, and then when I drop into yours and I see a video like the politics-oriented stuff, the YouTube ad revenue stuff, it shows me that that's still the power of having a platform in the hands of people that deserve to have it and understand and appreciate having that outlet, as opposed to a generation that's only ever known it. So just meant, and also just from a friendly perspective, it meant the world having your support, because I remember when I was just starting, Crow would pop up in my comment section on a regular basis just saying, hey man, just checking out your stuff, just swing it by, glad to see you still cracking. And that means the world, man, because it means that there is a legacy, there's something that endures. So for that reason, and for obviously just the fact that we've spent 2 hours basically reminiscing about what YouTube used to be and how it could have been greatest, it could have been a contender, and it's still great. But you know, I just have to say thank you. Just thank you for giving your insight, and thank you for giving everything about how you do and what you do in a succinct way that I struggle to condense down, and you've done it in that way. So thank you, man.
That's cool. But the interesting thing, just go on the end of there. I'll just lose my voice. The thing is, with most creators, YouTubers or whatever, it's very hard for us to view other people's videos, because we spend so much time creating your own stuff. By the time I've done all this lot and editing all that lot, it's just like, okay, what am I going to do for the rest of the evening? I'm going to watch a film. I don't have time to sit there. I mean, I'd love to sit and watch everybody's. If I've got loads of subs that I've subscribed to, I can't sit and watch them all. But I do try to pop into your channel and a few other people's that I know that need support and stuff. Yeah, some of them, like I say, have given up, but yeah, it's just hard. Yeah, it's hard to get into them all.
It's maybe one video every once in a while, but it's still that. Again, it's the endurance. It's the thing that what you do matters to somebody. And if I saw you or any of the guys that I follow and gals post something to the effect of "I'm done," I'd probably message him and say, "Are you sure? Like, what's going on?" Like, I'd be sad to see them fold, and I you know, I toy with it sometimes, and yeah, it's that thing. It's hard because there's only so many hours in the day, and you want to focus on your thing, but you also don't want to not support people that deserve it as well. So that's why, again, I try and duck in as often as I can, as you do, and I will continue to do that. And sooner or later, this time next year, Rodney, we'll be
millionaires,
sub-millionaires, and maybe not, but who cares? Because it's a fucking fun ride while it lasts. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree completely on that one.